What is going on, internet? Welcome to my channel and welcome to my weekly design training where I share design tips with designers free. I'm going to be showing you guys how to work together with AI to achieve a successful design project using one of the design I received from a designer. First, I'm going to start with reviewing the design and I'm going to share how I was able to achieve my version with you. I'm sure you're going to learn so much from this video, so let's go. All right, so let's start with what is working in the project. So the first thing I noticed that is working here is the background. All right, I like the fact that, the background is really projecting the information on the project clearly, which is also part of what I've always been sharing with you guys. And yeah, the other thing I noticed is also working here is the part of the proximity, which is the grouping of, the elements in the project. All right, because if you look at, the project here, you'll notice that we have this as one group. Now I'm putting them in their separate groups in no particular order. All right, so yeah, so this is another proximity here. All right, and yeah, so this is just alone, and then we now get to this. And another thing I also noticed that is working here is the part of the hierarchy. We have pictures of people here, which is the first level of hierarchy. The project is always the first thing that the people see. All right, then the next level of hierarchy in the project is the title. All right, which is the bold information that we have in the project. And then we now have the date and time. Then we now get to the venue. Now this and this are going to be seen together. The level of the hierarchy of the images, which is the picture of the people here, will make people read this together with the pictures. All right. Yeah. So the part of the contrast is also beautiful, which is similar to what I shared first on the part of the use of background correctly, because the contrast here is so visible that we can easily see the information. The designer did well where the use of contrast is concerned. All right, because yeah, we can easily see this here, and then also the names of the people here, we can easily see it. And then this side also, we can also see it clearly. And this information here also, we can see it. So the part of contrast in the project here is also beautiful. All right, so let's go straight to what I notice is not working in the project. All right, so the first thing I notice here is the project not giving that dynamic look, because like I always say to you guys that we are entertainers. All right, part of how we entertain the viewers is through the way we make our project look dynamic. All right, so I noticed that the title is not dynamic enough to draw attention. This title here is too flat. All right, it's not really giving that interesting look. And then the other thing I noticed that the designer did not really do well here is the part of the perspective principle on the arranging of the pictures. All right, it's not really balanced here, because if you look at the head of this lady here, all right, you'll notice that it looks bigger than this. This here looks bigger than this. All right, and this is making it look more like these guys are, these people here are more like giants. All right, because their head is bigger than these two people that we have here. And whenever you are placing images, all right, see the placing of the images like the way things appear to you in real life, where objects that are bigger are closer to you, where the ones that are smaller are a bit far from you. So that's what I noticed, that the designer did not do well here where the placing of the pictures is concerned. All right, now I also noticed the wrong use of design element. And I'm saying this here because I'm still trying to understand the effect we have on this board here. All right. Still trying to get why the designer put this here. If you apply moves that did not have any meaning in your project, it's going to take away from the project. So I'm going to advise designers to stop working this way. So I don't expect to see this. This is not, necessary. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. So this is what's going to take us to the redesigned version of this artwork. Now, but before I do that, I have one very important information I want to share with you. We get calls a lot from people who are looking at going to design but can't afford to pay for design school here in Nigeria. Now, because of this, we decided to start a foundation where we can be a blessing to these people. Now, we're looking at getting space and gadgets in order for us to meet our goals. And this is where we need you to support us with your donation. If you have any amount you believe you can support us with, kindly make use of the information on the screen. If you're outside Nigeria, you can also be part of this. All right. And for those of you who have been supporting us with your donation, we want to say thank you for making the move. Okay, so let's go back to the tutorial. All right, so I decided to use the box frame for the project because first I noticed that the information in the project is not much, and also to help the way I'm going to play with the title, which you guys are going to see anytime soon, because I know that if I make use of the portrait frame, all right, my title is going to be too loud if I make it big. I mean, like, it's going to make it too loud because I'm going to try as much as possible not to allow space that is not necessary. I'm talking of space that is going to make the project look like something is missing. All right. So the idea behind using this background here, which I'm going to share with you guys soon, because AI is what actually inspired the color I use here, and the style, the type of background that I use in the project, which I'm going to share with you guys before the end of this tutorial. So I decided to maintain making the background have life, because making your background too plain or flat most time can make your design project look boring. The work of the background is to project what you have on the foreground, so you also need to put some elements, some designs to make the the background have life, and to also help make the content you place on it pop. All right, so I decided to use the Photoshop filters to to achieve this effect. And if you need the exercise file for this tutorial, you can make use of the link in the description section of this video. What inspired the light effect I use in the project here is because of the title of the project, Exceeding Glory. All right, now I asked ChatGPT that what type of illustration is best for the title, and one of the results I got from ChatGPT was to use an image that shows intense light, and that's the reason why I decided to give this light effect that you are going to see. But by the time I'm done with the project, I'm sure you guys can already see some light effect that I applied to the project. And like I said, what inspired this is because of the title of the project. And also the reason why I decided to use the color. No, I don't want to jump. All right. I'm going to share this with you guys when I'm done with the redesign version. Now, there's another thing I also noticed that most designers don't pay attention to, that this designer did not do. You see, when it comes to the part of placing images, you need to make sure you make the shape of the images balance. All right, make sure the shape of the head is okay, because I notice on this picture here, you'll notice that I'm trying as much as possible to make the shape of the head balance, and the reason is because the designer did not make that balance in his version. Then there's something the designer did which I love so much, which is the playing with the pictures. Now, designers, whenever you are given pictures to use, please play with the image to the point where it's going to add to the beauty of the project. I noticed the designer did this on his version, but I noticed that he added some overexposed effect to the faces of the people, which really is not really okay. Too much of everything is not always good, and the same principle applies to graphic design. Making the face of your characters, I'm talking of the pictures of the people you use in your project, too overexposed can affect the success of the design. So I'm going to advise you to start, avoiding making your pictures too overexposed. And that's what you notice I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to make the highlight, the shadow, and the midtone on the face of the people balance in order to make, to add to the success of the project. Now you notice I'm adding some light effect behind the people, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I really want to give room for contrast. I know the background is, I have some playful effect on the background, so I decided to use those light effect to not only connect this to the message in the project, but to also separate the ministers from the background. I hope somebody get that. So also you can get the link to these exercise files in the description section of the of this tutorial. All right. Yeah. So there's another thing I also want you guys to notice here. You'll notice that there's a way I place the pictures of the people. I decided not to make them share the same size. Now, if you look at the person on the left and on the right of the person on the foreground, you notice they share similar size. So the idea here is to make it look like these two people are on the same line. Now, the lady on the left is smaller than these two people. And the idea is to make it look like the lady is a bit far from them. All right. So that's the dynamic part of arranging picture I was talking about when I was reviewing the design from the designer. All right. So I decided to apply this spin effect to the image because I still want to continue with that flow of that circle effect. All right. So I first stamp visible the layers, and then I apply the spin effect to it to still achieve that radial effect in the project. Now there's another thing I also did here, which is also part of what you also need to learn to do whenever you are putting together your elements when working on design project, making sure that the color on your background, the touch of the color on your background is reflecting on the face of the people you have in your project. And that's why you notice whenever I make any move to any layer where I apply brush or I do any effect, I try as much as possible to go and color balance this to make this blend correctly with the background, because the background really is what most time inspire the color that you are going to use in the project. All right, so that's the reason why I decided to make sure I pay attention to the colors to make everything balanced. The way you play with the avoiding of too much of different fonts is the same way you're going to avoid the use of too many colors in graphic design. All right, so that's the reason why I'm playing with the colors there. And you notice I added this grunge. There's this grunge effect I added to the project. The idea behind this is to not make that part where I apply that brush to look too flat. Texture, I've always been sharing this with you guys. Texture is one of the trick that as a designer, if you start applying it to your project, it's going to give life to your project. So I don't want that brush part to look too flat, and that's the reason why I decided to apply the grunge effect to the what I have on the middle ground, all right, which is the brush part, which is the bottom part of the project. All right, yeah. So the same principle is still what I applied to the title. I don't want it to look too flat, so I decided to add this this glittering image to the title in order to also make the title have life. All right. So yeah, so I'm going to share how I was able to get the colors that I use in the project with you guys now. So what I did was I went to ChatGPT and I typed exceeding glory illustration ideas, and ChatGPT gave me so many ideas that I can use, the illustration I can use for the title that will add to the success of the project. And at the bottom part of the result, I have this pro tip design direction that is that was part of the result I got from ChatGPT. And what I so much love about this is, if you look at the project, you'll notice that the project is more of focusing on women. All right. So I decided to go with the part where it says for female focused visuals favor. So if you look at my version, you'll see I use this I use soft gradients over harsh contrast in my version. All right. So if I go to my version here now, excuse me. All right. So you'll notice that this is looking harsh. All right. All these here are looking harsh, soft gradients. So all these are gradients. All right. These are gradients. All right. These are gradients here. These are gradients. Gradient is where you have two colors that blend each other. All right. So if you look at this side, you see they blend into this harsh part. And the same principle is what I have where we have those light effects in the project. The same principle is also what we have here. You notice this side here looks darker and this side here looks brighter. So this is more like a gradient. All right. Then the next part is the warm metallic rose gold and harsh yellow gold. So the harsh yellow gold is what I have on the background here. All right, is what I have here on the background. All right. Now the darker value of this gold yellow here is what you're looking at here, is what I have on the middle ground here. All right. In fact, if you look at this side of the background, you'll notice that I still have this, the same value of what I have here is what I have here. All right. So these are what I was checking out when I was applying my brush, that when I said I was, color grading the layer to give room for unity in the project. All right. So that's for that. And then for the part of the rose gold, I applied the rose gold to the title. All right. Now, this is here, I was able to achieve contrast with this, because if you look at the project, you'll notice the only part where you have this rose gold here is on the title. And the idea is to make this, all right, more pop to the eye, all right, to make it more loud to the viewers. All right. So that's how I was able to get the part of, combining colors there. And then when I have elegant curves, flowing shapes, and light effects. So the light effect is what I have here. All right. And then the curves, these are the curves here. All right. These are the curves you're looking at on, the background. And yeah, I think that is it. Okay. Yeah. Now let's play again. Number and share the project hierarchy based on how each element guides the eye movement. If you have the answer to this question, kindly drop it in the comment section of this video. I hope you learned so much from this tutorial. And if you know anyone that you believe need to watch this video, kindly share the link with them. Now, if you love the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to click the post notification bell so you get notified when I post any of my tutorials. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again in the next one. Peace.